Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Diamonds and I'm the founder of Sculpt by Science. Personally for me, I've started all my transformations at 30% body fat or more and gotten my six-pack anywhere between 90 to 120 days, guaranteed. I've also had clients who thought this was impossible, and that changed once they started taking the steps in the right direction. The same steps I'm going to share in this video. Look at Hugo, dropping 23 pounds in medical school and running his own business. Edgar dropped 44 pounds and seeing his abs. And even my client Tori, eating cheesecakes in the shape of his life. All these people are busy professionals, some with families, and have finally gotten their six-pack and kept it with the strategies I'm going to share in this very video. Getting a six-pack is one of the most desired goals for many gym goers and people in general. Having a shredded midsection is synonymous with being fit, and I say at least get your six-pack once in your life. Both men and women strive to get that chisel abdominal look. I know I did when I first started my fitness journey. I've done this year after year after year and improved on my knowledge and research, lost fat and gained muscle at an improved rate every year. And I can tell you, it'll take more than just doing 100 crunches each and every single day in the morning. In this video, I'll share how to finally get a six-pack, starting at 30% body fat, backed by science and experiences from myself and my clients, so you can take these pragmatic steps and be able to do it yourself. But before we dive in, the first step to support the channel, the work that goes into making these videos, the research, the filming, editing, and for the YouTube algorithm, gently hit the like button. It'll be greatly appreciated. And if you enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing. If you're interested in working one-on-one with me, the application is in the description down below. The most well-known and prominent abdominal muscle is the rectus abdominis, which is responsible for the six-pack look. Having a strong rectus abdominis is essential for maintaining good posture. It assists you with lumbar flexion, the rounding of your lower back, and allows you to perform normal day-to-day activities such as bending over or standing upright. The external obliques, the largest of your abdominal muscles, and is responsible for trunk rotation. They're on either side of your rectus abdominis. This motion is controlled by the external oblique muscle on the opposite side of the direction which you're twisting. Internal obliques are also responsible for twisting and turning, but they rotate the trunk to the same side. And then finally, there's the transverse abdominis, which is the deepest of the ab muscles and is also vital in ensuring good core strength. It plays a crucial role every day in movements, protecting and stabilizing the spine. Let's dive into the step-by-step process. How to finally get a six-pack starting at 30% body fat. I'm probably the best person to make this video because in my last 8-9 years of going through these transformations, improving on my science and my understanding of the physique, I've always started roughly at that 30% body fat range, and over the years improved my process and even got into single digits. I've become a men's physique champion, and this year is the year I go for my pro card. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to set our goals and we want to set our objectives. We want to figure out how long it's going to take so we know what to expect and what idea we're going for. That being said, if you're starting at 30%, to be able to see your full six-pack, you need to get to 12%, which means you need to be able to lose 18%. To figure out how many pounds that's going to be in weight, you take 200 pounds or your current weight, multiply that by 18%. 18%, that's going to give us 36 pounds, which means we want to go from 200 pounds, which is usually the weight I start at, and minus 36, which gives us 164. Coincidentally, that is the lowest weigh-in that I had on my last prep. That being said, it is just an estimate. It can be 164, it can be 170, but now we have a rough idea of what weigh-in we want to have. That being said, we also want to figure out now how long is this going to take. On the high end, I say you want to lose about 1% per week. If you want to lose 18% in terms of body fat, in my case, that means it's going to take 18 weeks, and that's the best case scenario. Now, if you want to do a more gradual, a slower pace, the one I highly recommend, and then you can work yourself to 1% a week, is starting off at 0.5% a week, which means it's going to take us twice the amount of time, which is 36 weeks, and that's exactly the normal time I take to do these transformations. I highly recommend doing it at 0.5% a week. That means 1 pound per week for you, or 2 pounds at the higher end. Now we've figured it out. It's going to take us anywhere between 18 and 36 weeks, depending on how much weight you're losing per week. We have the goal. Step number 1. You fall into 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1 is that you have a poorly developed six-pack and you have some fat tissue. Scenario number 2, you have a poorly developed six-pack and a lot of fat fat tissue. And scenario number 3, which is what I would fall in right now, is that I have a well-developed six-pack, but the fat tissue is covering it and you can still see my abs under certain conditions. That being said, most people are falling in scenario 1 and 2 where their abs are poorly developed and they have a lot of fat tissue on there. So let me explain how to tackle this scenario. The long-term approach that is always going to serve you is to be able to develop your six-pack to allow you to see that six-pack longer term. These are the exercises that are going to serve you, and that's helped me build my six-pack according to EMG data. Exercise number 1 that's going to first target the rectus abdominis, and according to Borg, Burns, and Buskys from the EMG data that they've studied, the crunch is what recruits the most amount of muscle fiber, and I have to agree, the crunch is the number 1 exercise I've utilized to develop my rectus abdominis. With a crunch, what I want you to pay attention to is the following form.
1. Hips. Hips need to be kept high and locked in place throughout the entire set to avoid using the hip flexors and allow a full range of motion. Dropping the hips too low won't allow you to do a full crunch. Moving the hips during the reps means you're using your body weight and hip flexors to do the movement. Keep those hips high and still so the movement comes only from the spine. 2. The hand position. Hand position also determines the range of motion and the lever length used to perform the exercise. A rope attachment works the best. I picture my elbows are wielded to my head. Tuck your chin into your chest about 2 inches apart and maintain this position to stabilize your neck. Doing this not only gets your hands and arms out of the way for the crunch, but it extends the lever length and allows you to get more stimulation with less weight. With an ab crunch, focus on getting a deep contraction, as much flexion in the spine as possible. The setup is crucial. We want the spine to get at least neutral at the top and a full flexion at the bottom while maintaining control throughout.
Now that is fantastic for beginners. If you are more so intermediate to advanced, I highly recommend using a cable crunch, which mimics the same movement as a normal crunch. However, you're using the cable to add resistance and the ability to progressively overload your abdomen. And as you progressively overload your abdomen, you're going to increase its thickness and allow your muscle tissue to pop more, even at a higher body fat percentage. So when you lean down, you have a well-developed, strong core and it looks really good. And that's the first exercise. For beginners, do a normal crunch. For intermediate to advanced, a cable crunch, or even a crunch with some sort of weight resistance behind your head or on your chin as you like. The second movement that I highly recommend for anybody who is wanting to develop their core, according to EMG data from Borg, Burns, and Buskys, is going to be the leg raise. The leg raise is phenomenal in terms of developing the lower part of the rectus abdominis. I know that you cannot target a specific portion, however, the concentration of the weight is more so towards the lower portion of the abdomen, and this is exactly how I want you to execute this exercise.
Hang from a pull-up bar with an overhand grip and your hands about shoulder width apart. Flex your hips and bend your knees, holding them above your hips in front of your torso. Now roll your torso upwards, bringing the knees towards your chin. Slowly reverse this motion without allowing your knees to become untucked from your body. Don't lose momentum. The way these exercises are usually performed with your hanging leg raised down and flexing at your hips. It is primarily a hip flexion exercise. Tuck your pelvis and you'll target the abs much better.
If you're a beginner, I highly recommend doing laying leg raises and work your way up to doing hanging knee raises if you're an intermediate, and if you're advanced, by extending your feet, you're able to move the center of gravity further away from you, causing more resistance on the rectus abdominis, and doing this exercise 4 sets every 2 to 3 days in a rep range of 10 to 20. Start off at 10 for the first month, in the second month do 15 reps, and in the third month shoot for 20 reps and see how well your V-line develops as well as your lower abs. And in the third exercise that I want you to do is going to focus in on your obliques. Research has shown that crunches to the side to be the best for your oblique development, or what I personally prefer is a Russian twist as a beginner. Now if you're an intermediate, using weights to be able to cause resistance to progressively overload the external obliques to help develop that full six-pack core look, and doing a combination of these 3 exercises, depending if you're beginner, intermediate, and advanced is going to give you the long-term benefit of having a well-developed core. Now that we have the exercises covered, now we need to focus on being able to reveal the abs that you've developed on a longer term. The second thing I want you to do is 10,000 steps each and every single day. Now, doing 10,000 steps each and every single day is going to give you a guaranteed way to be able to pull fat tissue or maintain the fat tissue at bay, because you're burning calories and it's sustainable and it's something you're going to be able to do the rest of your life. I've done calculations that if you maintain everything as is with your nutrition and your sleep, and you do 10,000 steps each and every single day for the next year, you will drop 24 pounds, which takes us roughly to that 15% mark. Now, if you want to take it a step further, I've had clients go even to 20,000 steps in their transformation, and look how much their abs popped eating burgers, French toast, and the meals that they enjoy. And with that being said, if you want me to be able to finally help you reveal your six-pack, you're a success-minded individual, you're a busy professional, you want to at least see your six-pack once in your life, then I highly encourage you to go through my application in the description down below, book a call. I'll be jumping on the call with you. We'll be discussing your goals and how we can get there together, and then we'll get your journey started. But with that being said, start at 10,000 steps. After week 1, move out to 11,000, then 11,500, and gradually increase that until where you feel that, hey, I'm at my limit. And then we go into step number 3, which is nutrition. It's always going to be the nutrition. Without being in a caloric deficit, you will never be able to lose weight and consequently fat. So being in a caloric deficit is extremely crucial for you to finally reveal those abs. In my experience, you can never outwork a poor diet. No exercising, no amount of cardio, no amount of exercises that you do is ever gonna allow you to reveal the six-pack. So simply being in a caloric deficit and tracking your macros and tracking your diet is gonna allow you to see that six-pack. Hypothetically, let's say you start at 2,500 calories. These are the macros that you should run by. If you're 200 pounds, go for 200 grams of protein. If you're 230 pounds, go for 230 grams of protein. In my experience, the basic 1 gram per pound of body weight is a good number to start at, and there is no harm unless you have a pre-existing kidney or liver condition. That being said, eating more protein is always going to be to your benefit. So even with clients of mine who can't fully track, when I've just had them eating 200 grams of protein, a few things happened. 1, I noticed that their metabolism was boosted. 2, because protein is the most satiating macros out of carbs and fat, I noticed that my clients would consequently be in a caloric deficit because the protein would keep them extra full. And 3, protein also is the building block for your muscle tissue as you're training your abs. So I've seen my clients also build more muscle. So you're building the muscle and decreasing the fat tissue, allowing you to see an increase in results because you're helping with the muscle build and you're decreasing the fat tissue. 1 gram per pound. Then the second point is we want to have enough fats in your system to be able to maintain your hormonal function, and usually 20% is going to do the job that we need. That being said, that's going to be 500 calories. 500 calories divided by 9 is going to give you 55.55 grams of fat, and the rest of the calories just have to go into your carbohydrates. Follow those macros and that same system as long as possible, and when you stop seeing results, slightly reduce your carb intake by 25 grams of carbs, which is 100 calories, and monitor your progress and make slow and steady changes. If you want to be able to manipulate 2 variables to be able to speed up your progress, is decreasing your calories by 100 to 200 calories in a week and increasing your steps by 1,000 to 2,000. And by being able to manipulate the calories out and the calories in, you're able to establish a deeper deficit. So if you start at 0.5% per week and you're seeing results and you want to speed it up and you're not feeling too much of the negative side effects, then you can be able to manipulate those 2 variables. And the only question that'll be left for you is being consistent through this entire journey. That is the one thing that I see stops people. And just to give you more so some hope, whenever I started at 30% body fat, it's only in month 3 to 4 where I finally start seeing my abs. It takes time. And I've seen on Instagram, I saw it somewhere where someone said there are more millionaires in America than there are people who see a six-pack. So let that sink in and just keep on going towards your goal. But with that being said, let me know which scenario you are in the comment section down below. Let me know if you're scenario 1, scenario 2, or scenario 3, and I'll try and help the best. Actually, I'm gonna do this. I want someone to describe describe their scenario in the comments, and I'm gonna pick one person. No, I'm gonna pick 2 people to do a free consultation with. All I need you guys to do is hit the video with a gentle thumbs up, be subscribed, and comment down below which scenario you're in and what your situation is, and I'll ask you, hey, did you like the video? Did you subscribe? I'll send you a message on Instagram, but I want to do that for you guys. I want to be able to help as many people as possible. I hope that this video is helpful. If you're looking to work with me directly, you want the full experience, you want me to take you from 30% and get you to 12, book in the call with me. All you need to do is fill out the application in the description down below, and myself or someone on my team will be reaching out to you and we'll get started on your transformation. I am very, very excited to be working with you. But that being said, gently hit the video with a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy it. Let me know what your experiences are, what tips you guys have. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.